Good evening, everybody. My name is Steve Knutson with Fairfax County's Department of Transportation, and I want to welcome you to this meeting tonight to discuss the traffic calming plan for Fairchild Drive. And we can start with introductions. And tonight from FCDOT, we have Ryan O'Carroll and Nicole Machakwe. And from the Franconia District Supervisor's Office, we have Aaron Campbell. And Nicole has a presentation that she's going to go through. And after the presentation, we'll open up the meeting to the community for any questions and or comments. And if any of the community task force members are logged on to tonight's meeting, they can introduce themselves following the presentation during the chat. Aaron, would you like to say anything before we start the presentation?
Nope, just thanks everyone for being here, and hopefully we can answer all your questions. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Aaron. And Nicole, if you're ready, you can go ahead and start the presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Okay, so welcome in, everyone. As Steve mentioned, we are here to discuss the traffic calming process for Fairchild Drive. So please note that this session is being recorded and may be shared on social media. Please hold all questions to the end of the presentation, and instructions on how to ask your questions will be provided at the end of the presentation. Today, we are here to explain the traffic calming process, provide opportunity for community feedback, and answer any questions that you all might have. So to start, so what is traffic calming? Traffic calming is the installation of physical devices that reduce vehicle speed. These devices can be either vertical or horizontal. Vertical devices are driven over, such as a speed hump, as you can see in the upper left-hand image. And horizontal devices can be driven around, such as a raised median island, as you can see in the upper right-hand image. Both types of devices make the roadway safer for drivers and pedestrians. Please note that through this process, we are not permitted to install stop signs. Here we have charts and images showing the effects of decreased speed. As speed decreases, visual acuity, field of vision, depth perception increase. And also with the reduced speed, we can see a decrease in stopping distance. Here is a map displaying traffic calming projects across Fairfax County, with over 279 projects resulting in over 665 devices countywide. Every district has implemented traffic calming measures. The chances that you have driven over one are quite high. FCDOT and the District Supervisor's Office collaborate with citizens on all community-initiated projects. So the upcoming program can be broken up into 5 steps. Step number 1 is project initiation. Step number 2 is plan development. Step number 3 is community engagement. Step number 4 is ballot phase. And the final step, step number 5, project installation. So all traffic calming projects are community initiated. The process begins with a request from the community to the supervisor's office. Once the request is received, FCDOT will complete a basic eligibility review. If eligible, FCDOT will then conduct a traffic study. And if the eligibility and traffic study meet requirements, the community then will form a task force. To meet basic eligibility requirements, the roadway must be VDOT maintained, have a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, be functionally classified as a local, collector, or arterial. And if it's a collector or arterial, it has to be a residential street. Once passing basic eligibility requirements, we move on to conducting a traffic study. For volume criteria, we need between 500 to 6,000 vehicles in 24 hours, both directions combined. So for Fairchild Drive, we had 2,391 vehicles. So we met the volume criteria. For speed criteria, the recorded 85th percentile speed needs to be greater than or equal to 10 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. So what this means is that 15% of vehicles will need to be traveling at least 10 miles over the posted speed limit or faster in at least one direction of travel. So the 85th percentile in the northbound lane was 39, and in the southbound lane was 35. So Fairchild Drive met the speed criteria in both travel lanes. The next step is plan development. FCDOT will conduct a site visit in the field in order to develop a draft plan. Once the plan has been developed, FCDOT will meet with the task force to obtain feedback and amend the plan if necessary. Then once the task force is satisfied with the draft plan, property owners directly adjacent to any proposed measure must sign off on the device before proceeding to the next step. So there are device placement requirements for vertical devices. So the devices must be a minimum of 300 feet between measures and existing stop conditions. It has to be a minimum of 150 feet from intersections and a minimum of 150 feet for continuous sight distance. We also have to take an account that to fit the existing roadway. So we have to count for driveways, manholes, utilities, and also for the grade of the road. So based on those requirements, we created a field map that gives us a better idea where we can place devices along Fairchild Drive. Highlighted in green are possible locations. After reviewing the field map, we then conduct a field review to see if the devices can fit on the existing roadway. Based on available options and our site visit, FCDOT can propose 3 speed humps along Fairchild Drive. The listed addresses in the blue boxes are the property owners who signed the adjacent property forms because the devices are directly adjacent to their property. Here we have a schematic of a speed hump. The speed hump is 12 feet long and 3 inches high at center. There will be white chevrons in each travel lane and a speed hump signs with a recommended speed of 15 miles per hour on either side of the device. This is a larger image of what the speed hump would look like from the side of the street. As I mentioned before, it's going to be 12 feet long and 3 inches high at center. So step 3 is community meeting, which is where we're here today. At this stage, FCDOT will present the plan to gather community feedback. Based on that feedback, the task force will decide whether to amend the plan or move to the next phase. If the task force decides to move forward, we will then move to ballot phase, which is step 4. During ballot phase, each occupied property in the ballot area will receive 1 vote and will send it directly back to the supervisor's office. The ballot time period will be open for a minimum of 3 weeks, and the supervisor's office will tally the votes and notify the task force of the results. Here we have an example of a ballot. The proposed devices will be listed on the ballot, and the community will be voting on the entire plan. The task force is responsible for distributing the ballot packages to everyone in the ballot area. There are 3 ways to return your ballot by the deadline. So 1, you can mail in your ballot directly to the supervisor's office. You can hand deliver it directly to the supervisor's office, or you can email it directly to the supervisor's office. Please note, all ballots must be turned directly into the supervisor's office using one of these 3 methods. Any ballots collected by the task force will not be counted. So here is a ballot area map for Fairchild Drive. There are 59 ballots. And in order for the proposed plan to move forward, we will need greater than 50% of all occupied properties to vote in favor. So we will need 30 yes votes for the plan to move forward. And if we get the required number of yes votes, then we can move forward to step number 5, which is project installation. The traffic calming plan will be presented to Fairfax County Board of Supervisors for endorsement, and the resolution will be sent to VDOT. Once endorsed and VDOT accepts the resolution, FCDOT will work with the Department of Public Works and Environmental Services to schedule installation. And then finally, the traffic calming measures outlined in the plan will be installed. So after tonight's meeting, the task force will need to follow these next steps. So step number 1, the task force notifies Fairfax County if they would like to move forward with the presented plan. An optional meeting is available to meet with FCDOT to review the balloting process. This meeting is very highly recommended to ensure a smooth balloting process. 3, the task force and supervisor's office notify FCDOT if ballots in the ballot area are to be distributed to the property owners or occupants. 4, the task force completes the ballot cover letter provided by FCDOT. If are included task force contact information, ballot received by date, which is the close date, and any additional message the task force would like to include. Then the task force sends the completed ballot cover letter to FCDOT for approval. Once approved, they will receive the verified ballot package. And then for the final step, the task force will need to print and distribute the ballots to all properties in the ballot area. So this concludes the presentation for this evening. We can move on to the questions and answer session. You have 2 options to ask your question, chat or speak. Once the chat item is activated on Teams, you can use it by typing in your question. If you want to speak, please click the raise hand icon. And once the host calls on you, to speak, you can unmute yourself by clicking on the mic icon or press Control-Shift-Mute on your keyboard. Please lower your hand once you are done asking your questions, and please remain muted until you're called on by the host. If you are calling in by your phone, please press *5 to raise your hand. When it is your turn to speak, the host sends you a request to unmute yourself, then you'll press *6 to unmute yourself. Ask your question. Once you're finished, please press *5 again to lower your hand. And at this time, please feel free to ask any questions that you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation, Nicole. And Nicole, if you do want to go back to that contact sheet, we can also go over how people can reach out to either the Franconia office or FCDOT's office after this meeting. So if you do have any questions after the conclusion of tonight's meeting, you can email your question to dotinfo@fairfaxcounty.gov with Fairchild Drive traffic calming in the subject line, or call 703-877-5600 and ask to speak to somebody about the traffic calming project on Fairchild Drive. So I think we do have a question in chat.
Yeah, it looks like we have a comment from Christian. It says, "Good evening. Christian calling here at 7318 Fairchild Drive. I'm asking about the future maintenance of these new additions. And also I wanted to ask about the implications of parking spaces. Will any be removed? He also says, once majority approval is reached, how long does it take to install these bumps?
So this should not impact parking. People can park on the speed humps if they choose to. And maintenance will fall to VDOT. So whenever they do repave the road, they will reinstall the devices if they feel that they need to. Generally, they have been like they just mill the whole road out, including the speed humps, and then just replace them when they put the new road surface back on. So whenever Fairchild Drive comes up for repaving, that's when the devices are generally redone. And I think, I'm sorry, what was the third question? The time it will take to go to installation. That does vary kind of depending on the time of year. After the ballot process is finished, we still need to go to the board and then to Department of Public Works for installation, and that's generally taking anywhere from 3 to 6 months for that process to go through, or maybe 4 to 6 months.
And
Hello.
then, yes, hi.
Sorry. Hi. Yes, I have a question too. Thank you for the time frame. I was wondering on the time frame, but the gentleman explained that. Uh, I have another additional question to that. Is there would there be any cost to the residents in this project?
No, so the funding for the installation of the devices is funded through FCDOT. We're generally using like what is referred to as carryover money from the county's budget. So it will come directly out of the Fairfax County budget.
Okay. Thank you for the answer.
Mhm.
Thank you, Gloria. And then it looks like we have another comment from Christian. He says that this is great and I'm all for it. However, I'm concerned that this doesn't alleviate all concerns of speeding in the neighborhood. The Meadow Woods apartment complex overflow. Residents park anywhere, even blocking driveways, causing so much traffic and illegal parking, along with homeowners putting down vast amounts of cones. Is something that was considered? Is this something that was considered?
I'm not positive what exactly the question is in there. I mean, we did propose the devices at the locations where we were able to propose them. As far as the overflow parking is concerned, we would need to work through our parking group, our on-street parking group, to look at any parking concerns that there might be in this area. I think, Aaron, you can reach out to Henry maybe and see if there is something that needs to be addressed in this area. But other than that, that would be the direction that you would need to go in as far as the overflow parking is concerned.
Happy to answer a little bit more on that too. So when it comes to people blocking driveways and if you see illegal parking, you can call the non-emergency police line. They will refer it over to the parking enforcement officer, and they can come and take care of that. Give a ticket if they're able to get there in time and see it. And so I think that when you say it doesn't alleviate all concerns of speeding in the neighborhood, should note too that the only street that was requested was Fairchild. It was not the other streets. So just want to let you know.
Okay, thank you, Aaron.
Looks like that Sergio is typing right now, and we also had a comment from Christian saying understood, thank you.
And so Nicole did point out that we do recommend having a follow-up meeting to this if the task force wishes to go through with the ballot process. We have a short presentation for that we would give to the task force about how to, kind of work their way through the ballot process. So after the meeting, you all can meet as a task force and decide if you want to go forward, and then reach out to Aaron, and we can arrange a date and time for the county and the task force to regather and kind of go over the steps for the ballot process.
And then Aaron, when you do get the chance, he did put in the non-emergency police number in there, in the chat. And then Sergio had a comment. We have similar concerns about speeding for Beechcraft Drive. Is there a way to piggyback onto this Fairchild Drive request for similar installs on Beechcraft, or would that require a separate request?
So that would require a separate request and a study also. So if there is a civic association along Beechcraft Drive, they can put forth a request, or we have a petition form that can be signed by people that live along Beechcraft Drive for that study to go forward into a review process.
Sergio comments, okay, thanks. And then we do have a couple people typing in chat right now. Just got a comment from Fairchild Drive resident. I also want to add on with Christian Cologne. I am all in with the addition of the speed humps, but there is also an increase of parking from Meadow Woods apartments blocking driveways. We'll be able to make a new proposal to help alleviate this issue.
So again, I think Aaron touched on the fact that, if you're having problems with people blocking illegally in the area, then you can call the non-emergency number for the police that is in the chat. And then also, I don't know, Aaron, if there is a possibility we can look at an RPPD in this area. I'm not positive if there is one, or if it can be expanded, but that would be a conversation we would have to have with the on-street parking group.
Yeah, this is a public road, so anyone is allowed to park on it from anywhere. It is publicly owned. The residential permit parking district has a couple different ways that people can qualify. The first is if you are within so many feet of like a metro station or college, like George Mason, a high school, that kind of thing, or there's a study that can be conducted to determine if enough non-residents are parking on your street. I will find that link to that program, and I will put it in the chat so you can take a look at it. I also put my email and the Franconia District email in the chat as well. So if you want to send me an email directly about that, that wouldn't be a part of this process, but I'd be happy to answer your questions, directly about this parking issue, but in a different capacity than this meeting.
Okay, thanks again, Aaron.
Thanks. We got a comment from Fairchild Drive resident, and they say thank you.
And Aaron did just drop into the chat the link to the RPPD program. So if there is some interest in seeing what that looks like, you can take a look at that link, and it should help kind of answer or offer some guidance as far as trying to go through that program.
I will also send an email to our permit or our parking enforcement officer here at the Mount Vernon station, just letting them know that we had some concerns about Fairchild Drive and illegal parking, so they can put it on a route to investigate over the next couple weeks or so.
All right, thanks. And again, Nicole does have the contact page up right now. So if people are interested, or if people do have questions that come up afterwards, they can reach out to Aaron at the Franconia office or one of the 3 FCDOT staff that are on the meeting tonight, and have a further dialogue about tonight's presentation.
And
again-
mentioned earlier, we are recording this. So if you do have community members that weren't unable to attend tonight, we hope to have this available to Aaron within a week or two, to make this available on our YouTube channel. So anyone who missed it will be able to review it if they choose to.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. Looks like we have another comment here from Christian. It says, last question, sorry, because I joined late. When can we expect ballots?
That is kind of dependent on the task force and when they're able to, if they choose to move forward to the ballot process and when that might happen. I would think possibly the earliest would be within a month or so. So we're starting the month of May here pretty soon, and I would think that it is possible that they could get them out by the end of May and before the end of school. So, I mean, that's still a doable time frame.
And then Christian commented, awesome. Thanks for your time.
Okay, so I do have the next step slide up here for the task force members that have joined us this evening. So once again, we will just need to know how you all would like to move forward. Email Aaron, and then we definitely recommend this additional or optional meeting with us to discuss the balloting process, just so you guys understand each step along the way, what the do's and don'ts to make a smooth balloting process for your community. So please reach out to Aaron to let us know how you would like to move forward, and then we can set up that date if you're interested. And we look forward to hearing from you.
And then we do have another comment here from CIN Bickle. Thank you, and will do. And then Sergio also says, thanks all.
Okay, we can keep the meeting open for a couple more minutes. If anybody does think of anything else that they want to ask. But again, at this point, it is just a decision that the task force needs to make if they want to move forward to the ballot process. And if they do, then we recommend that we meet again. We have just a couple of slides that we would go over. And we would also be able to send those slides to the task force, so they would have them in their hands for kind of a step-by-step through the ballot process.
So we do have a hand raise. It's number 240-372-7642. So when you get the chance, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Tammy. I'm one of the members of the task force, and I'm here with my husband, Jim, who's also a member. And I just wanted to say for us, we're definitely want to move forward, and I believe that the other members, if they're on the call, do as well. I wasn't
Okay.
able to log into the meeting. I had trouble with the team, so I couldn't see any of your slides or anything, but
Oh, sorry about that. We did send the slides to Aaron in a PDF, and he should be able to send them out to the task force.
Okay,
So
great.
we at least have that. Again, we recommend that we do go through another really short meeting with the task force about how to kind of walk through the ballot process.
Okay, sounds good. I just wanted everyone to know that we were on the call at least, and appreciate y'all's time.
And there was a question in the chat asking how many neighborhood members are part of the task force. How many people did you end up with on the task force? Can you tell us really quickly?
Sure, there's 5 of us.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. So there are about 5 people that were on the community task force.
Which, by the way, is about what we ask from every neighborhood is 4 to 5. So
Awesome. Then a couple other comments in the chat. CIN Bickle says agreed. Melody and Al Davis say we do wish to move forward as well. And then CIN Bickle also replying that there are 5 task force members.
Okay.
Correct. So we're all in agreement.
Okay, and I would just recommend shooting a quick email to Aaron saying yes, and maybe offering some dates and times that we can meet again. And it can be during the normal work hours if you would like. Again, all the task force members don't have to be on the meeting. We will have some PowerPoint slides that we'll send to Aaron, and he can distribute to the task force members. And they do kind of help, walk through the process and all the do's and don'ts.
Perfect.
Okay, and Aaron is just saying that he would appreciate a quick email just so we have a paper trail indicating the fact that the task force does want to move to the ballot process.
Okay, I'm sure Sin will take care of that.
All right, it looks like she's typing now.
Yep.
There
Looks
we
like Sin put in there. Yep. I will email you, Aaron, by tomorrow.
All right.
We do have a hand raised by Gloria.
Yes, I just want to say thank you for taking on this task. The speed issue has been there for a while, and we're glad that you guys are trying to fix this problem. So I just want to say thank you.
Oh, well, thanks for the kind words, and I'm sure that most of that was geared or aimed towards your fellow community members that are on the task force, because they have been doing a little bit of the work behind the scenes, and will probably be doing a little bit more during the ballot process. So their time and effort is definitely appreciated.
And a quick comment from Sin. Thank you all.
All right. Well, if that's all the questions that we have, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. And we do want to thank all the people that logged on and took the time to join the meeting. And we do hope success for this process. So everybody have a good night, and thank you.